Greetings, world. Welcome to another MEN-talRollaDeK Live. Today's topic, the illusions women tell themselves. Featured hosts, a Mary, your mama slayer. A Mary Brownby. What's good, King?
What's up, man? What's going on, brother?
It's been a minute, man. I'm happy. I'm
Yeah, I
happy
know.
you can join us.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, King. I know you heard the topic, and we
Right.
probably gonna get lynched for this, but
Yeah,
the illusions women tell themselves.
right.
What's your thought on the matter?
I mean, no, this is it's a prevalent, topic. It's something that we should examine and explore, man, because like what happens because of social media, the society, because of the perceived economic vitality of Black women, um, and the fact that many of them do make their own money in terms of their careers and stuff like this. It's able to create industries that cater to messaging that they want to hear. But the problem with that is that oftentimes the messaging is in contradiction with the reality, not just the reality of their position in American society, but the reality of themselves and how they view and perceive themselves, and many of the toxic behaviors and traits that they engage in, that we just take at face value, and that we just take as being normal. You see, always being seen as victims and never being seen as victimizers. Like you especially when it comes to, like, for example, domestic violence. Like I guarantee you, if you talk to the average sister, she'll have a story of how she was the victim of some type of domestic violence, right, or domestic abuse. But oftentimes what you're hearing is a one-sided story, because many of these sisters aren't domestic violence victims, they're domestic violence participants, meaning they'll initiate the altercation, they'll instigate the altercation, and they'll be the aggressor in the altercation, knowing that they have a certain level of free reign to operate this way, because the way they're going to be perceived and the way we are perceived as Black men. We're never perceived as being victims. We're only perceived as being victimizers, as being this brute, this Mr. character, like from the color purple. You see, and it's not like, the things that I'm saying right now, I'm saying with no proof. Like you have, even from the time period when we began to see this type of dynamic and dichotomy between Black men and Black women developing, we have writings that was done about it from that time period. And I've posted articles on my Facebook page about it. The rise of he ain't shitism. You see how it became culturally acceptable and taken at face value, that when you're looking at the relationship dynamic between Black men and Black women, anytime it goes awry or anytime it goes south, it's always because the Black man just can't get right. He ain't shit. That's been the narrative. You see what I'm saying? And so I think that's maybe the most potent part of this illusion. It's common for us to hear protect Black women, protect Black girls, but you never hear nobody talking about protect Black men, protect Black boys.
That's why they wanted to kill Shahrazad Ali, King.
Right, right. You know what I'm saying? And even if you start talking about in terms of like sexual crimes, the biggest victims of sexual crimes are not women, it's men. But you never hear that. See, when whatever befalls a man, we just take it at face value. Oh well, that's just what it is. I mean, he's a man. But when like those same types of situations befalls a woman, we act as if it's a special tragedy. It's something especially wrong. when those same things befall men every day, all day, especially when you start talking about black men. You know what I'm saying? And so because of this messaging, because of this echo chamber, it's created this cognitive dissonance with many black women and many sisters, and it's made them unrelatable to their own black men. Well, now it's like we are in effect, even though we share the same social space, we share the same the same bedrooms, we share the same culture and everything like that, we're still estranged from one another because of that narrative. And
Hence,
it gets recycled and repeated. Go ahead.
hence the illusion.
Right, exactly.
They don't see how the scale is tipped in their favors.
Right.
And based on society statistics, it's meant for them to thrive and for them to elevate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell
Mm-hmm.
me a man is that dumb to tip the scale against himself,
Right.
put himself on child support. You don't pay child support, you go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Now you fall into the system, screwing your opportunity to actually be somewhat of a good citizen or provide for your children. Within the same
Right.
breath, a woman would call a cop on you, then think about how she's going to get the bread later.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They don't look at the in-between. Like everybody look at the conclusion, but they don't look at how we got here. Why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
What happened in between? They expect because, oh, you a man, right? You're supposed to be tougher than concrete. And,
exactly.
you get abused. They'll brush it off. You're a dude. Like they inflate us to be superhuman, but we're not.
Right.
But in 2020, like a lot of us don't even want to be emotional when it's a natural state for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've even hear men saying, yo, or a woman's telling another, yo, you're being a bitch. Stop being, you know what I mean? Like the different terminologies and things that they utilize to display, the arrogance of not knowing what's actually being transpired at the particular moment. But within the same breath, right? They say, yo, you should protect me. Right? And dude was saying the other day, like I was listening to this podcast, and the king was like, okay, if you want to be or you claim you're equal to men in a hostage situation, don't ever talk your way out of it for the men, which is the cops, to protect you while you leave the men within the situation. Like, babe, excuse me, you've been good. I hope you get out, but I'm gonna go over here with these cops and they're gonna protect me until you're safe. It's a one-sided battle.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I understand the gripe about the pay. Like, oh, women should make the same thing men make for the same job. That's cool. I understand that. But when you look at everything else, it doesn't add up.
Right.
Because while they sleep, who's doing the roads? Who's on the scaffold? Who's playing on the skyscraper? Who's driving the trucks? Who's maneuvering to do these things that y'all downplay and then turn around and treat the men like they shit?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know what? Like what you're talking about, like when we're talking about men being emotional or emoting, what happens is we conflate, and it's not just women who do this. Like I've seen brothers do it a lot too. We conflate machoism for masculinity. That's what we do. We think being macho or being hard, and a man isn't supposed to listen. If a man wasn't supposed to cry, he wouldn't have tear ducts. All right. So I've never let society and its misguidance of understanding what true masculinity and true strength is. I've never let them put me in a box in that way. Like throughout my life, I've shed many tears, and none of those tears I shed ever compromised my strength as a man. You see, but that's what we'll push, and that's what we'll believe. And then what we do, we weaponize a man's humanity against them. Like when you do that, they're not saying that we're superhuman. They're saying that we're subhuman. We're not human beings. We're not supposed to feel. You see what I mean? Like that's the way you dehumanize men, but more specifically black men. You make them less than human when you do that. And so we buy into that social programming, and it becomes a common theme and a common narrative. Like you hear people all the time on social media, on YouTube, blaming violence in black communities on the lack of masculinity, on the fact that these boys today are bitchy and emotional because they weren't raised with a father. When in Chicago during the Roaring 20s, when Chicago was littered with gangland violence amongst the Italian immigrants, the Irish immigrants of those cities, no one ever blamed it on them being emotional and bitchy because a father wasn't in the home. No one. Has nothing to do with it. It's economic. Like when you see the brothers aggy or brothers, emotional or stressed out, it's because of economics. Like when I start going over my bills and I see what I have to pay versus what I make, and I make good money, but nonetheless, I automatically start feeling I start feeling stress. So are we understanding the external stresses that exist in our environment that causes brothers to operate and act the way they act? Has nothing to do with them being emotional or bitchy. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, you good, King. You're making valid points. Or picture being in a household with your kids and they ask for something and you can't give it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you have enough to take care of bills and maintain to put a roof over their head, but you can't provide for what they need. As a man, I've been in situations like that. That shit make you feel lower than dirt, bro. Get what I'm saying? So we have to change the trajectory of our mind state because it starts with our mental, right? So until I change my mental, I started reducing those forms of stress, and no is just no. You know what I'm saying? And like even within circumstances, don't want to blame everything on the woman because I feel like men and women reflect the same stresses when it comes around, right? It's like like you said, we're on the same ball field. But most women will say these things and expect you, go get it, when she's not getting it herself. It's kind of like telling a fat dude, you need to lose weight, but you fat yourself. How about we lose weight together?
Exactly.
See, the thing is, we need to stop looking at one acting as if they're superior and realizing we're on the same accord. Baby, whatever you have that you bring to the table that is powerful, that can change the world, and some form of enlightenment, go do that. And what I do best, vice versa, I should do that. Not you dictating to me like, you should do this, and that, when you don't have the answer to the equation your damn self. So the blind end up leading the blind, and guess what? We both walk into the wall.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've taken hits from brothers for what you just mentioned, this whole idea of who's superior and who's inferior. That's the wrong mindset to take when you're looking at the male female paradigm or dynamic. Like we exist on a continuum of humanity. One isn't superior or inferior to the other. We need each other in order, like because I see dudes say this all the time, men are better at everything than women. Okay, if you believe that, then go establish an all male island. Like go somewhere and get you an island with nothing but you and a bunch of men, and let's go back in 100 years or 200 years and see how many of y'all gonna survive. Your asses will be like, you'll go extinct. So you need her and she needs you. It's not 100%. Like that's the wrong way to look at it. 100%. You see what I'm saying? But you'll sit here and talk. You can't call yourself superior if you need her to exist, nigga. Like, so how you superior? Like, it's stupid.
And it's vice versa, because society only gets as far as the women gets.
Right.
They don't look at that either.
Right. But they don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you tell them They'll, oh, are you simping? Oh, he's a mangina, all this like stupid stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, keep believing that. And then not only that, in this society, they do things from a systemic level to make sure you can't even live up to that as a man. And then you wonder why these women run around here feel and think the way they think about you as a man. That's why. Like you buying into the programming.
They're making it too easy, bro. Most
Mhm.
men make it too easy. You can't
Right,
renounce or dilute yourself as a man. You're a man. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And as much as most of these women say, "Hey, I need a man to this, that, and whatever," right?
right,
Half of y'all men is subjecting yourself to the woman. Most women don't want you subject to them, bro. They want to
right,
see if you can lead and do what you need to do as a man.
right.
Or are you gonna stand up and say, hey babe, do this, that, and the third, and then flow as a team? Because the minute you give up your right as a man, she look at you as a bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where the respect goes. And it's like, okay, here we go. I can't
Mm-hmm.
stand this dude. And she already evicted you in her
Right,
mind, and she's no longer part of the relationship in her mind. And the crazy thing about it is women know this quicker than men.
right.
But most men don't see this.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right, man. Like when you're talking about leadership, I think a lot of us, I think both black men and black women, we look at leadership as an exercise and barking orders and like pointing fingers and stuff like that, telling people what to do. But leadership is all about setting the example. And you can't ask someone that you purport to be leading to do something you're not willing to do. You have to be willing. You have to be the first partaker of whatever it is. Um, you're trying to get those who you claim to lead to do. You have to be the first partaker of it. You have to do it first. And that's always been my message to brothers, that if brothers want, a particular type of community, well then they have to take those steps to make that a reality first. You have to do it you lead by example. You lead by doing, not by saying. And so that's what happens. I think we want perceived privileges and benefits from having the status of leadership without actually having to lead. And I think a lot of sisters have that too. Like they want status and benefits from being in the follower position without really having to follow. Like if you look at just what's going on with the election, like that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Like because they'll swear up and down, if the men just take the lead, then we'll naturally follow. Okay, then well, why didn't y'all? They didn't fall in line with Ice Cube and his contract with Black America, even though within his contract he got President Trump to commit to investing over $500 billion in the Black community. But yet they still went and supported the Democrats in the liberal movement and this other
Oh,
bullshit.
hold
Now
on
guess
though.
what's going to happen? Oh, go ahead.
Hold on though. And look,
Right,
and look, and let me show you how our program, our people are king.
right,
Nothing that's in Ice Cube's plan has been placed in law yet. It's not
right,
set in stone.
right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And the Democrats been screwing us for the longest, bro.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They're making it seem like racism was invented when Trump came into power.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And they overlook
Mm-hmm.
all the shit that Biden did since he been in power till now.
Right.
Like,
Right.
dude even have a scandal going out on him. They have the proof that him
Right.
being corrupted, and nobody's
Yeah.
talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it. You see how the media is complicit, like in maintaining the status quo. And see, that's the problem they have with Trump. Trump is what he is, but Trump poses a threat to the status quo because he's so much of a megalomaniac. He would do some bullshit like a contract with Black America just to rub their faces in it. Like that's how they view Trump. They know that they see Trump is not an establishment candidate. Like
Yeah,
even the Republicans ain't really rock. They didn't want him to win. When he won the first time, they didn't want him to win the primary. Like they didn't. because he wasn't he's not a politician. Trump
Yeah.
isn't a politician, you know, and so just look at how many sisters still went and flocked and supported the Democrats, and all because they perceived Trump to be a bigger racial antagonist than Biden, even as Biden has already said his first thing on his agenda is to do something for the LGBT community. I don't know what more they could fucking want. They just got a bunch of shit when Obama was in office, and he's not even talking about doing anything specifically for Black people. But then, guess what you're going to hear in the next 8 years? Look at the Black community. The men ain't doing this, and the men ain't doing that, and the Black men ain't making no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Delusional, man.
But look, bro, it's not over yet, and everybody's like, "Oh, he lost, right?" It's cool. What I'm saying is, because there's something bigger playing in the background. What I'm saying to them is, go ahead and dub him the winner, right?
Right.
Because just say it's a conspiracy or it's not a conspiracy. What if all the actual ballots are watermarked, and there's a way that they can prove that it's an actual ballot based on that watermark, right? And then say they find 3 million ballots that doesn't have that watermark. Then what? Did he rig the election? Did he actually cheat? You know what I'm saying? Because the shit don't make sense. Like, people see the shit coming on the news. People that's dead and people no longer living in a certain area voted. Like, some people went to the poll and found out they already voted.
Right.
So,
I mean, yeah, they cheat, man. Like, they cheat. Would they cheat for? Hell yeah, they'll cheat, man. Like, I believe that. Like, people think it's like, and then you look at them when now that Trump is talking about the fraudulent ballots, and he's going to the Supreme Court and challenging certain things. The Democrats and these liberals acting like see what I mean? But these people, when Trump won, they said it was Russia. They said it was this. They tried to impeach him. They had all this bullshit going on. Man, fuck out of here, man. Like, okay, well, be like, and my thing is, I'm not partial to one party over the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already understand what they are. I already understand what the game is. But the point is, you never put all your eggs in one goddamn basket anyway. And the other point I want to make is that Democrats and liberals need to stop acting like what's good for other parts of this liberal coalition is what's good for us. You know what I'm saying? They don't never do nothing. They never do nothing for us, man. And that's the problem. That's why I didn't vote. Let me tell you something. If I would have knew Georgia, because I thought Trump was going to win Georgia handily. If I'd have known that, man, I would have wouldn't voted for Trump, man.
They're recounting. Georgia's officially recounting right now.
Yeah, I would have. You know what I'm saying? I should have voted. I said, well, shit, Trump, like, that's the South. He'll win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing for me though, like, and I look at this overall, and this does apply to women too, because my mom been giving me the business. Oh, you voted for Trump? I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna have the last laugh. You know what I'm saying? When he put everything back in, say for instance, lockdown, and now people can't fend for their family, and we scavenging amongst each other, robbing each other, and so on and so forth. Because people fail to understand that racism is systematic, bro. It's controlled by the government, bro. They spend billions of dollars to make sure you're redlined. They spend billions of dollars to make sure that your comedy schools is more impoverished and you don't get good books and so on, because they know who you are as a man. You're original. You get what I'm saying? But we keep buying into the bullshit. Like, every time, take Kamala for instance. Like, oh man, she's black. No, she's not. She don't identify as black. She says that. Her own father don't support her because she shits on him. She only isolates her mother, which is an Indian side. Right. You see what I'm saying?
See that?
So, and then it goes back to women, bro. Like, a woman will feed you some bullshit. They'll cook in the house, chitlin, and then tell you too fat, you need to go lose weight. But yet you control how long I live because you're the one cooking. Right. And you defy certain things. But when you get certain things, it's like there's a double standards. I'm not saying no, you can't go out and make your money, but don't tell me you don't need a man when 2 minutes later you're on top of a female with a dildo strapped around you. You're imitating who? Bro, these are the conversations we need to
Right.
have,
Yeah.
bro. Who are you imitating? You're imitating a man. When
Right.
you
Yep.
walk around and call yourself a stud, you're imitating me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So technically, you're not a stud, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's it. No, you're a woman. You will
Mm-hmm.
never, no way, shape, or form, be a man, no matter if you alter yourself. I'm not gonna say you're a he when I knew you was born a she.
Right.
And you can't cancel me, fam. I'm too damn determined. The
Right.
only shit that cancels people is death. And nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows because nobody ever took a picture and came back like this is how it is. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So we're living fake stories, bro. Like that's why I say everything around us is an illusion. You know what I'm saying? Like you got
Mm-hmm.
some people like, yo, I read this book and the shit is facts. Who wrote the book? When was the book
Mm-hmm.
written? This is a
Right.
copyright where? So how is it facts if somebody else wrote it? What did they change in the
Right.
book? How did they change things to benefit them or have you feeling a certain way? You know what I'm saying? It's all about
Yeah.
perception, bro. And once they eat your perception and keep you in fear, they have you feeling a certain way. Just like, for instance, they have us as a people, as a whole, failing to elevate and create businesses for ourselves. Look at the hair industry. How many billions is
Right.
that worth? Then on the same
Mm-hmm.
breath, you have some scholars will turn around like, yo, the black community is impoverished. Why are they stores in our communities though?
Right.
Liquor, a gas station, not
Mm-hmm.
owned by none of it. Why
Right.
these stores exist in our community? Who's spending money with them?
Right.
We're the biggest consumers. So don't tell
Yeah.
me we can't pick ourselves up
Right.
out of our own shit. I wasn't born with anything. Everything I have, right, it's an extra attribute I added to myself.
Right.
Whether the knowledge, whether the physical thing, the car, whatever else you think, and so on and so, I added that to me. I didn't come out my mom with those things. We can change who the hell we are. And one of the biggest change that needs to happen right now is the
Mm.
unity amongst males and females
Yeah.
because we need each other. And it's okay for, a Mary to say, yo, fuck you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
2 minutes later, come like, you know what? I'm sorry. I need you.
Right.
Like, y'all grudges is ridiculous. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they take that shit to the grave, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Like she'll feed you and try to destroy you in the same breath. like,
Mm-hmm.
like, come on, let's build together. Empires are built as a unit, not as a singular thing. Because at the end of the day, you might not have the physical strength I have, but you may have the endorsements or the brains to bring forth ideas for us to elevate and be greater. Let's be fit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be a partner.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's the truth, man. Like I tell guys that all the time. It's because it's common for us to hear that. You know, men are the builders. Men are the builders, and men have never built anything or absent of the woman. Like the woman has always been right there building with them. Men and women build societies, civilizations, nations, and families together. You see, and I for whatever reason, in this day and time, in this era of modernity, that message of unity is highly unpopular. It's highly unpopular. Like it's not lucrative for that to be your message. You see, and so what happens is it's supply and demand. Like the demand right now, is for these our two respective factions, for black women and for black men, to have these echo chambers that push a narrative that they want to hear. Remember, that's how I started with the echo chamber that black women have been existing in. And so now what you have male, content creators on YouTube and other spaces who are attempting to mimic that and have an echo chamber that's geared towards black men, that just telling black men what they want to hear. You see, and so I mean, if you look at it, that trajectory is set. If that trend continues, then what you'll have is you're on a trek to racial suicide within the larger framework and context of a society that is being fast tracked towards multiculturalism. You see, and what's going to happen is both black men and black women are going to be a permanent underclass in the society. But it seems that for many sisters, they're fine with that so long as they can be situated above black men and can continue to be fed the narrative that they've been fed for the last 40 or 50 years. That appears to be fine for them.
Which is sad, bro, because it's not on your doorstep, it doesn't mean it doesn't affect the other doorstep. Like, we need to get that shit out of our head. Everything that affects you affect me. We don't have to be in the same location because we're still considered so-called black. We you know what I'm saying? They lump us in together and be like, oh, well, this black person is different from that black person, and so on and so forth, and this, that, and the third. And a lot of the BS that actually transpires within our society, most women oppose that.
Right.
Like men dancing around like females. Women justify that. Because if they did not, it would not continue to be what it actually is. You know? And they gravitate to a lot of the changes quicker than men do. Like, you still got dudes saying, yo, I'm not thinking to that. Like, I'm not conforming. But with the snap of a finger, the woman would conform. And guess what? Gradually, that dude that had that mentality that says, I'm not conforming because the woman did it, he conformed. Because most men follow the woman in certain aspects. I don't give a shit how masculine he is, how much money he getting, how he move when he move, how he takes care of his kids. Guess what? I heard you said earlier, take whatever quantity of men and put them on an island and see how long they survive. Bro, I'm not going nowhere if the pum pum not there. so
I know
that's not happening.
Right.
we need to change the trajectory and have these real conversations. You know what I'm saying? Mary don't always agree with me, and I don't always agree with him. But guess what? There's a respect thing there. Whenever he does his thing, I come through, I watch, and I give my opinion and whatever, and I still maintain my respect for King. And that's what it needs to be. Like, we need to have difference in opinion, but move accordingly and stay on code. You know how kind of like you don't argue with your chick when you're out in public, but when you come back in the crib, you have that conversation. We need to go back on code. We're selling out too much.
Right.
You know, we need to sit back and pull not only our children, but hold other accountable, whether it's a so-called black man or a so-called black woman accountable. Because I've seen a lot of bullshit that we let slide, right? Because the person is at a high elk in society, so we overlook these things. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute Cardi B is putting a pedophilia image on a cookie. The next minute she's dressed as a devil. Then she come back and tell you she's an angel, and we buy into that. The next minute she's talking politics when she don't know shit about politics. Who are we getting that information from? Why are we idolizing these people?
Exactly. Like how Joe Biden, he sat down with her, but wouldn't sit down with Ice Cube. And I'm not even saying that, because if he was serious, then there are people within black social spaces who have a better knowledge base and understanding of what it would take to actually alleviate many of the things that need to be done in the black community, especially as it relates to to black men. But you won't sit down and have a conversation with them. You see, it's always the politics of symbolism when it comes to the Democrats and the black community, and it's like they expect black people to support them because they push this myth or this notion of them being somehow less racist than Republicans or conservatives. You know what I'm saying? He sat down and had a conversation with her like, oh, that bitch don't represent the black society, man. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
She don't even identify as that either.
Right.
Like that's the thing I don't, bro. That's the thing I don't get. And a lot of our so-called black scholars too is against us. I remember an actual interview with Dr. Sabian. He said he went to the Oprah. He said he went to the Farrakhan's. He said he went to these people, and he said these people really don't want so-called black people to be healthy.
Right.
And I believe that. You look at
Me
it,
too.
you really don't see these people in your communities, right? And if they
Right.
so-called give back to so-called blacks, it's in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It don't happen here, but they're quick to open their mouth and shit on the man. Like take a LeBron for instance. Oh, he opened a school. Look at his teacher, his staff, and this is that and the third. He opened a school.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Look at Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Umar. Oh, I need to raise this. Like, dude, you get $500,000. You could have started a little school and show people that okay, I have this little building and
Right.
expand from there. But yet you say
Right.
y'all are some selfish, ungrateful, like you're entitled to my money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these are the things that they run around with, the entitlement and
Right.
this fake, you know what I mean, perception that's diluted and watered down, bro. Like, yo, like I said earlier, I don't have to agree with everything you say, King. But as long as I maintain my center of balance and respect you, and I stay on code, like I'm gonna support you because you look like me.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And I said this before, and I've seen this. A Chinese man support the other Chinese man not because he likes him or he loves him, because he know if he supports the Chinese man, it's going to uplift and elevate his race.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've actually had one gave me a little game. He said, "Yo, we don't go to banks for loans. If I need $25,000 loan, guess what I do? We get 5 of us, we bust our asses, and we get $5,000 a piece. And then we come together and we all become business partners. And then within the business, we do it again based on the other goal that the other person have and make it happen."
Exactly.
But we sit with all these excuses, man, and watch TV and the news and like, oh my God, this is the truth. And do no form of research. First of all, research is not really research if it was done already. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do the work, King. Everybody wants to party. But when it's time to clean up and put the confetti in the trash and all of that, everybody walks out the door like, yo, peace, see you later. And you stuck by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you want to hate on the man that worked his ass off from the ground up through all adversaries or whatever to reign and stand wherever he stand and shit on him. Yeah, talking about canceling Ice Cube. His aim is to do something for you.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go behind that. And a lot of these so-called black scholars are really not for us, bro. They're sheep. They're sheeps, bro. They play the game. They get paid. They get paid to play the game. And as long as they can go to a nice neighborhood and they big fancy, they don't really give a shit about you. But they will come on their platform and be like, yo, I care about you.
Right.
Where's the food drives in your neighborhoods? I'm not saying there's not a chosen few that put a band-aid on certain things, but where's the food drives? You know, where's the building that's aiming to educate you and elevate you to make you a part of society again? Where's that? The Roland Martins, they talk and this, that, and yo, Cuba's bugging, or I don't like Trump and this, that, and the third. But nobody would go and read dude's executive orders.
Yeah.
Barack Hands was tired. Why didn't he write executive orders?
Man, yeah, he could have, man, bumped that dude, man. That's his biggest disappointment, man. You know what I'm saying?
Come
that
on,
dude,
bro.
Man.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Politic games. And that's the same way, that's the same games our women play, bro.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And you know, it's sad, man, because what happens, you know, you get the leadership you deserve, you know, and because you have so many frauds and charlatans who dominate these spaces, like on social media and stuff like that. People that's really genuine that's really about it, it's hard for them. It's hard for them to break through. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for them to penetrate all this other white noise that clouds the airwaves. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened? Like you get the leadership you deserve. Like when you're talking about Umar Johnson on a certain level, you know, he's a reflection of us. You know, like we do have this sense of entitlement, not just like coming from him, but I'm just saying like as a group, you know, culturally we had a sense of entitlement, and
It's a
because we
fact.
feel so entitled, we won't even take the time to grasp, to research, like you said, so we can have a real understanding of the things that we talk about, the things that plague us. We feel entitled. You see what I'm saying? So it's just so easy to just go on and click a video and hear that message and just believe that, without actually having to research for yourself or try and learn for yourself. See, like what we hear a lot is rote learning. Like there's a difference between memorization and internalization. The things that we really learn, that we internalize, these are things that come from the dominant society, and that comes from, you know, white society. In terms of like pro-blackness and knowledge of self and this other stuff, those are things that we memorize, but we haven't internalized, because if we internalized it, we would practice it.
Absolutely.
But we don't practice it. We just, you know what I'm saying? It's memory. Like it's just something we talk about it, but we haven't internalized it, so we don't practice it. We practice the things that come from the larger society, the dominant society, because that's what we practice, hence our condition in our state.
Because we think they're winning, and they have a whole bunch of zeros, right?
Right.
There's no value attached to that zero. So it's like, for example, we keep talking about reparations, but nobody goes back and read the 14th Amendment, subsection 4.
Right.
Right. And then it would show you why we're not getting reparations. And if you go back and read some more, it will show you that we own slaves as well. Not only blacks, but also whites. Right.
Right.
Will also prove who paid the reparations. But the thing about it, King, like you said something before, way back, and this is like some odd months, bro. Like, and you just kind of bring it back. You kind of brought it back when you said our aim is to watch the high society, right? They got us chasing a dollar and a dream, right? But nobody told us that dollar and dream don't bring happiness. It just changes our habits and our circumstances, but it doesn't bring forth true happiness. That's why you have the suicide rate so high amongst wealthy people. If money was it, they wouldn't have been offering themselves. You know what I'm saying? Connection is the biggest wealth in society, but nobody takes note of that. I may not know everything, bro, but if I can hit you up like, yo, Mary, you know such and such, and you put me onto some game, and then you give me references and where I could find it, that's a win. That's a win for me. But we don't even do that anymore. We look at it like, oh, Mary, man, I ain't going to that nigga too. The judgment hinder us from actually growing.
Exactly.
You know, now, like, fam, if I'm hungry, fam, I'm gonna tell you I'm hungry, bro. I'm not gonna be like Queen. No, I'm not hungry. But your mouth is salivating when you see me. Just give me a salad.
Right.
And I asked you if you wanted something. Now you mad because I'm eating.
Right.
Like, come on. Come on. Like cut the shit, yo. We need to be more real and upfront with each other. You don't have to like me. I don't do this for likes.
Right.
It's not about the fame. It's actually about the change. You know what I'm saying? And we're so clouded inside with everybody else's shit. We forgot who to be, who we really are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If the man down the street drinks 100 bottles a day, I don't have to drink 100 bottles a day.
Right.
I can be content with one if I'm a drinker, or I can be content not drinking at all. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You don't got to be an
Yeah.
only fan, butt ass naked, playing with yourself for $350. And we hinted, and we actually, most dudes out here paying for that shit too, jerking
Yeah.
off. Are you
Yep.
stupid?
Yeah, I know, right?
You ain't tight, bro. There's nothing more beautiful than touching a woman and smelling her and entering her, bro. How do you get off on that on a video?
Right.
So we need to fix the bullshit, bro. We really need to
Right.
fix the bullshit.
I mean, yeah.
I know you say you
Thank
gotta go in a little in an
Right.
hour. Just
Yeah.
go ahead and give your summarization, bro. Like leave them with
Yeah.
leave them with whatever
Now,
you.
now, I mean, like in this age, man, it's easy to buy into you know, a lot of popular narratives that get pushed. And this is something that's definitely targeted as sisters. And so now what's happened in the age of social media, like black men feel like they have a voice now and they're talking. And I think sisters would do well to listen and try and learn, and instead of always looking at it as a genderized issue, always thinking that, as a woman they're in the right, or the women is right and stuff like that. If you can't ignore your men, alienate your men, isolate your men, and have your men too. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pick. I mean, and I'm saying that as a group, you got to pick. You can't have it both ways. Because you have these messages that's propping up, that's telling, brothers, vacate. And I mean, on a certain level, it's resonating, especially with a lot of the younger brothers. You know what I'm saying? So they would do well to get away from their delusions and maybe actually introspect and see the things that they've done wrong as a group of women, and stop making excuses all the time. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the best way to summarize it.
Absolutely. Accountability is the greatest thing ever. Once you start holding yourself accountable, you will start realizing the changes within you, and therefore you'll make the changes outside of you. You get what I'm saying? But like what's between your legs is more so a necessity now. It's no
Right.
longer the standard.
Right.
It's
Mm-hmm.
no longer the goal at the end of the rainbow. And for me, I just want to say that you're a lot more powerful than what society dictates you are. You're stronger than that. But within the same breath, you can't tell me what a real man is if you're not a man, forgetting that you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and some of y'all might be saying, "Oh, that's a nice way of you saying stay in your place." If that's the way you look at it, by all means. And I feel like everybody has a place. If I'm a janitor, I'm gonna be the greatest janitor I could be. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the pole, be the greatest pole dancer you can be. Stop aiming to go into somebody else's work when you have no experience within that work. And that's the thing that's killing us. Entitlement mixed with illusion
Mm-hmm.
and false narratives. Because we even do it as parents as well. Like, oh, baby, you did great. I'm sorry, King. You made an effort, but that's not your lane. We're going to find a lane for you. But as a father, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like, oh, man, you can do it. If you make six tries and it didn't work out the sixth time, find another way. Approach something else. You get what I'm saying? We got to stop
Yep.
lying to ourselves. And queens, regardless of your feelings towards whatever or me, sincerely, I genuinely want to help and I genuinely love you because I am not me without you. There would be no man without a woman and vice versa. So until we unite and start strengthening each other, we will forever remain the speck twiddling underneath the thumb of society and this fake government. And with that being said, peace, love, elevation, and prosperity. Gratitude for
Peace.
coming through, King.
Appreciate you for having me.
We got to do this again, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right. All right. You be safe out there, man.
Likewise, King.
All right.